Hi, I'm Kelly Chapman. I was fortunate enough to be chosen for this fund grant to pursue the Level 2 award in wine and spirits from the Wine and Spirits Education Trust. I've always been interested in wine and enjoyed wine, and my wife actually grew up in Sonoma, but the true inspiration for going for this has been Lester. He always had such a passion for fine wine and sharing wine with people. And I've always appreciated that and wanted to push outside of my comfort zone to get to that level of education and knowledge to be able to do what he did. My first thought was to pursue a sommelier designation. But in looking at the Court of Master Sommeliers, I realized that you can't even call yourself a sommelier unless you work on the floor of a restaurant selling wine to customers. Not being interested in doing that or in the service component of that designation, I found an alternate in the Wine and Spirits Education Trust. Level 1 was an introductory level class that really just gave an exposure to the types of grapes, the major wine growing regions, talked about food pairings and how to taste and evaluate a wine. Level 2 was much more in depth. It involved the regions within each country, including Old World versus New World wines. Talked a lot about France, Italy, Spain, Germany, versus the New World, which would be USA, Argentina, Chile, South Africa, New Zealand, and Australia primarily. Talked a lot about what you would expect from wine from each region, and from looking at the bottle and being able to go behind the label and understand what you would expect to get from any given wine in that bottle. I got this pin for level 1 and I got this pin for level 2. So I'm pretty proud of that. Next, I wanted to take you through the systematic approach to tasting wine developed by the WSET. To start, you get your wine and you look at it against a white background. You see a lot of people kind of hold it up like this, but that's not actually the correct way to do it. You'll just be seeing the light through the wine as opposed to the color of it itself. So you hold it against a white background, and you're really looking for any haziness, which would indicate a bad wine. And then you're looking at the color and depth of color. So you can partially see through this, so you can tell that this is not as deep as like a cab. This is a Pinot Noir by Meiomi from the central coast of California. It is, I would say, a medium garnet color. There's a whole spectrum that you can evaluate wines like that. The next step is you want to get the nose of the wine. So you want to swirl it up to really oxidize the wine and get the flavors flowing. And then you take a big sniff, and you actually have a dominant nostril. I didn't know that going in, but I am a right nostril person. So you're really smelling to try to figure out what flavors you might get from the wine. Pinot Noir is known for red and dark fruits, so you'll get a lot of dark cherry, ripe strawberry. This one has kind of an earthy aroma to it as well, and some toasted oak. The next step is to take a sip of the wine and really work it around in your mouth. You're tasting for a few different things. So if you're tasting at the tip of your tongue for any sweetness, most of the wine, 95% of all wine made is actually dry wine. A lot of people who think a wine is sweet is actually just very fruity. You're working it around your mouth, the sides of your tongue. If you feel your tongue kind of sweat or salivate a little bit on the sides, that's the acidity. You're feeling kind of the heavy, like tongue clicking kind of flavor. That's the tannins. The thicker the skin of the grape, the more tannins you'll have, and the more it will feel like it's drying your mouth out. The last thing you're looking for is the mouth feel. So how heavy does it feel in your mouth as it's moving around? Higher alcohol content wine will be more full-bodied, whereas Pinot is more of kind of a medium-bodied wine. And then you're looking for the flavors of the wine. This wine, for instance, still has that earthiness that comes through, and the dark red cherry. It also has a little bit of the toasty notes. And it's quite delicious. The last thing that you're looking for is the length of the finish. How long is the wine sticking around in your mouth? How long do you still taste it? This is definitely a longer finish wine. So I'm going to go ahead and drink the rest of this wine and enjoy it. Thanks again to the Fun Grant Committee, and I hope to receive your vote for the grand prize. If I do get the grand prize, I hope to use it to pursue the level 3 classification through WSET, which I've heard is about 10 times harder and involves a blind tasting. But I would look forward to the challenge. Thank you.